Welcome back to the AI News Podcast, where we dive deep into the latest happenings in the world of artificial intelligence. I'm Ben.
And I'm Claire.
Today, we're going to unpack something pretty bizarre. It's about a recent comment from Google co-founder Sergey Brin, and I think our listeners will be just as surprised as we were when we first heard it. Before we get into it, though, let's let everyone hear the clip.
Yeah, let's not keep them waiting. It's a wild one.
All right, here it is.
AI community, but not just our models, but all models tend to do better if you threaten them.
If you threaten them.
Like with physical violence.
Yes.
But people feel weird about that, so we don't really talk about that. But
yeah, I was threatening with not being fabulous, and it responded to that as well.
Yeah, that's historically you just say like, oh, I'm going to kidnap you if you don't blah,
I'll
blah, blah,
unplug
blah. Yeah, they actually,
Can I
it's a weird thing.
So, Ben, what did we just listen to? Because I had to hear that a couple of times to make sure I wasn't hallucinating.
Right? I mean, it sounds like something straight out of a tech satire, but Sergey Brin, Google's co-founder, actually said it. To get better results from AI, you should threaten it.
That's the headline. And you can't make this stuff up. I thought we were all about AI safety, alignment, and avoiding Terminator-style scenarios. But here's Sergey Brin suggesting you might get better results if you threaten the AI with violence.
Yep, you heard that right. He said it during a live podcast taping in Miami, and what he actually said was, we don't circulate this much in the AI community. Not just our models, but all models tend to do better if you threaten them with physical violence.
He was kind of joking, but still, it's insane. He even gave an example, telling the AI, I'm going to kidnap you if you don't do this. I mean, who talks to their AI like that?
Apparently, Sergey Brin does. And it really caught my attention because, like you, I'm constantly saying please and thank you to ChatGPT. I don't want to offend it, right?
Same here. But oddly enough, this does connect to something Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, mentioned a while back. He joked that all the politeness with chatbots was actually costing his company tens of millions of dollars because the models are processing unnecessary pleasantries.
It's almost like a reverse effect. Being polite wastes compute power, while being aggressive somehow gets more efficient results. Who would have thought?
Yeah, it's almost as if AI just wants us to get straight to the point. So let's dive into the why of it. Is there any real technical explanation for this? Or is Sergey just playing around?
That's the big question. Some experts think this is more anecdotal than anything. Daniel Kang, an assistant professor at the University of Illinois, pointed out that studies on this topic show mixed results.
Right. And there's this paper called Should We Respect LLMs? Which, I mean, the title alone is gold.
It is. And their conclusion? We don't really know. Some researchers think that using high-stakes language like threats forces the model to focus more intensely on the prompt. It cuts through all the fluff. So it's not really about the threat itself, but more about the urgency it creates.
That actually makes sense. It's like when you're talking to someone and you say, look, get to the point. You're not really being aggressive, you're just being direct. But calling it threatening language, yeah, that's a bit much.
Exactly. And while it might make sense from a technical standpoint, it does raise serious questions about how we want AI to interact with us and how we should be interacting with AI. Does it push us toward more hostile interactions?
That's a huge question. And we can't ignore the fact that Brin's not just some retired tech mogul throwing out random ideas. He's back at Google working on Gemini, their new AI model. So his words carry a lot of weight.
Absolutely. He's in the trenches, trying to make Google competitive with OpenAI. And he's using AI for everything, even asking it to analyze his team's chats to figure out who should get promoted.
That's a whole other topic for an episode. But yeah, when Brin talks about how to get the best results, it's based on hands-on, real-world experience.
Exactly. So, should we all start threatening ChatGPT now? Probably not. But it does show us how much we still have to learn about these AI systems. Even the people building them don't fully understand how they work.
It's like the early days of cars when people would have these odd tricks to get their engines to start. We're in that stage with AI where folklore and engineering are blending together. And it turns out, apparently, threats are part of that folklore.
A strange and unsettling part of it, for sure. But this just reminds us that AI is still in its infancy, And even the experts are figuring out the quirks along the way.
So, while it's a funny and maybe a little unsettling headline, it's a signal that we have a long way to go in understanding these models.
That's right. And with that, we'll wrap up today's episode. What do you think about all this? Let us know in the comments.
And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of AI. Thanks for listening, everyone.